company more and more. Anyways, my name is Paula Harish, for those of you who do not know me. I want to thank you for taking the evening to be here. I apologize for us starting late. Registration took a little longer than we anticipated, but it's awesome to see a full room. I wanted to say a special thank you to John and Becky Bursell for being here and taking the time. Come on, we can give them a better Canada welcome than that, guys. So for those of you who don't know, this is their second trip to Calgary, second of many, right? And we're blessed to have them here. It's such an honor to have the top ranked distributors, the top income earners in the company. You know, I could talk about them for hours because they're so fantastic and down to earth and just phenomenal, phenomenal people. They're really, you know, I call you the pioneers of Kyani because that's how I look at it. Show of hands, who's here for the first time? Who's a guest in the room? Awesome. Let's give the guests a round of applause. Thank you for trusting the person who invited you. I can appreciate if you may have been dragged here. The first person who shared Kyani with me didn't get any positive out of me, I'll tell you that much. But I can honestly tell you guys, I've been with Kyani, May 26 was 2 years. Kyani has changed my life in every aspect. Physical health, from the business aspect, personal development, every single way. And I, for the first time in my life, have found what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I tell people all the time, I could totally see myself doing this for the next 70 years. Yes, I plan on living well past 100 with a good quality life. So without further ado, just a couple of housekeeping tips. If you have a cell phone, please turn it off or put it on vibrate. We don't want to be a distraction to our lovely guests of honor who are going to do our presentation for us this evening. If you have any questions, please hold them till the end. Myself or anybody else in the room or the person who invited you will stay as long as necessary to get your questions answered or find the answer to your question if we don't already have it. Also, if you have one of those little tickets, everybody got a ticket when they came in, yes? Yes. Perfect. So at the end of the presentation, we are going to do all of our draws and giveaways. And we have a lovely little silver bowl there that we get to draw out of, so it's pretty exciting. So I'm going to bring up John Bursell at this point, and he's going to do the first part of the presentation. So let's give him a warm Calgary, Canada welcome. All right, sir, so you got the clicker here?
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
You did a great job. All right, Calgary. It's fantastic to be here. Becky and I want to thank you guys for the hospitality. You know, that's the one thing we love about coming to Canada is the people are so warm and friendly, and we just love being here. So thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight. And I want to welcome those people that are new here for the first time, that are actually taking a look at Kyani. But before I start, I just want to give you a little bit of a background of where I come from. I was born and raised in Bakersfield, California. It's an oil and gas town. My father was a petroleum engineer. I'm the youngest of 5 children. My dad was very serious about his children getting an education. He wanted us to go to school. He wanted us to work hard and basically live what we considered at the time to be the American dream. And he was able to realize that dream because back in the day you were able to, get an education, and most people during that time were able to work for a company for their lifetime. And unfortunately today, the way the job markets are, I think the average person works 10 different jobs in their lifetime, which says that there is a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of ups and downs, and that is one of the reasons why, well, I'll have to give the credit to my wife, because she's actually the first person in our family to take a look at network marketing. And where I was at, I had just graduated from college. I was working in the oil and gas industry as a systems engineer. And I felt like, I was doing everything that, I thought I wanted to do in life. And I thought it was going to bring stability and financial freedom to our family. But what I quickly found out was that working for someone, you're at the mercy of them, and they basically get to dictate your financial income. And it didn't matter how many hours I worked. I was trading those hours for dollars, which most of us know is considered linear income. And there's no problem with that. But my wife, thought, there's got to be something more to this. I was spending sometimes up to 80 hours a week gone. And we had 2 small children at the time, and that wasn't the plan. That wasn't her plan. That's not what she envisioned when, I finished school and started the workforce. So she got introduced to network marketing, and I can remember very clearly, she came home one evening and she told me that we started our own business. And I'm like, okay, great. And then she mentioned, and I said, okay, did this cost something? And she's like, yeah, it only cost $499. And so my first reaction to that was probably what most people think is like, what did you do? What are you involved in? And she kind of gave me a quick breakdown, but I was so negative and so skeptical of the network marketing industry. As a systems engineer, I look at numbers, I look at things, and unfortunately in this business, we hear a lot of bad stories. We always hear, well, this company or this person was doing this, or it's kind of got that stigma. And I was basically, saying those same things back to my wife as to why I didn't like this industry. But I didn't really know anything about the network marketing industry. And it wasn't until, she basically said, well, honey, if you want to get your money back, then you have to go to an event. And after that, if you still don't like it, then you can get your money back. And so I'm like, okay, whatever we have to do, I'll go. So we went. We went to the event. And so, she kind of tricked me in the sense, but she could see, some things that I didn't see. And I'm grateful for that because it's changed our life in so many ways. But it was after that meeting that I kind of started to see a bigger picture of what this industry is about, and to see what working for yourself is about, being able to provide options for your family, not being reliant upon someone else, but being able to dictate your own financial freedom. And that was important, for me. I mean, that really resonated with me, the power of what this industry brings. Now, what's important to note is Kyani, what's important about that is the fact that it's owned by traditional businessmen who share similar values, which I feel I share, which means they provide value. They have something that people desire. And we know that there's a lot of companies out there that have products, and I would suggest to you that the Kyani products are very powerful. They're based on value. They have substance. In fact, you ask our founder, Kirk Hansen, what is it that separates Kyani from other companies? And he says, substance. We have something that's of value that you can go into the marketplace and feel good about sharing with others. We don't have to hype this thing up. We don't have to, get crazy in order to make this thing seem real or make it seem like, I have to convince somebody. That's what I like. We're offering products that actually make a difference in people's lives. And we've partnered with business owners in the Hansen and the Taylor families that are financially sound, and they want to enable us to experience some of those same things that they've been able to experience. So let's go ahead and talk about, or get started, with Kyani, founded in 2007, as you can see. It's funny because when we got started in Kyani, we showed up to what was considered the national convention, I guess is what it was, back in 2007. And we showed up into a room. This is the national convention, mind you. And it was literally the size of this side of the room over here. Okay? This is the national convention, or I should say the international convention, because that's all there was. In fact, there was less people than there was on this side of the room. There was probably, we could probably fill the first 5 rows, and that was Kyani at the time. Yeah, you guys are like, woohoo, that's exciting, right? What do? I walk into that room and Becky's all excited. She's like, I'm like, there's 20 people in this room. I said, this is a national convention of this company. And I was like, you want to partner and align yourself with these guys? And she's like, yes, because what I know is that Kirk Hansen and Carl Taylor, they are going to do what they say they're going to do. And that's very powerful because that's what's happening. And as you can see, we've had growth all over the world. We're in over 60 countries worldwide. Our products continue to be, the pillar in the industry. We don't sacrifice on quality because we don't have to. We've got the resources financially and the people in place in order to bring value to the marketplace. So you have to be excited about where we are today and the growth that we're seeing. And it's only because of people like you that see something that, hey, we do have something to offer to the rest of the world. This is something that we can do. We can own our own business, and we can grow it internationally, and it doesn't require a huge cost to get started. And it's like, to me, when I was hearing all these things for the first time, I'm like, all this stuff seems to make sense. Does it make sense? Because prior to Kyani, we thought about opening up a Subway franchise. And so we started to investigate, well, what are the startup costs? What's it going to cost? And as most of you know, in business, there's always a cost. Doesn't matter what it is. And in fact, in most traditional businesses, the startup costs are huge. They're tremendous. But in Kyani, what we like is that this is geared for the masses. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, you're Asian. It doesn't matter your race, your religion, your cultural background. That doesn't matter. What matters is if you have a work ethic and you basically want to provide for your family and you want to create something great, this is the vehicle that can do that. And I hope that we can illustrate that effectively for you tonight. So as I mentioned, we've got the Hansen and the Taylor family, and just to give you a little brief background on why it's so important who you're doing business with. Anytime we talk to the Taylors and the Hansens, the one thing they want to really point out is that we are partners. If you align yourself with us, we will give you everything you need to succeed. And as we have been here since shortly past 2007, we can attest to you that is the case. That is true. And that's pretty rare in this day and age. But Kirk and Rebecca Hansen, Jim and Leanne Hansen, they're one of the largest petroleum distributors in the western United States. They have multiple holdings within Marriott hotels, numerous restaurants, real estate ventures. They're very sound and traditionally family-owned, operated businesses. And they've been very successful because they've always stood about truth and providing value to the customers. And that's why they've been successful. And they have aligned with people that are just like them in the Taylor family, which they're a large potato and ranching operation. Again, multi-generational, and have been in business for a very long time. But together, our parent companies do over $1 billion in sales every year. So they're very stable and very sound, which is great for us because it allows us to go into marketplaces, which means in all over the 60 countries that we're in, and be able to do business. And the only reason we can do that is because we are sound financially. The Kyani Caring Hands program is something that Becky and I are very passionate about. It is our way of giving back for being, blessed in this company. We feel like, there's a responsibility. If someone gives something to you and you feel like, you've been provided or you feel blessed, we feel that, it's a responsibility of you to pass that along and to help someone else. And so Kyani, with the resources of the Taylor family, we've been able to create what's called the potato pack. And what that is they're basically able to freeze dry some of these potatoes because of the resources of the Taylor family. We add Kyani nutrients to them, and we help to feed people around the world that are in less fortunate situations. And Becky and I have had the opportunity to travel to a lot of these places. I mean, it's amazing. We've been to the Philippines, we've been to Mexico, we've been to South America a couple times, and it's truly amazing to go into these cultures, these homes of these people, and just to give back, to help them, because we are blessed. We're fortunate to be where we are, to live where we are. We really are fortunate. And so Kyani believes in giving back, and we're grateful to be associated with them and the Potato Pack program. Our scientific advisory board. This is another thing that was very important to me, was the fact that we have validation in our products. I don't have to stand up in front of a room and tell people that you need to be taking omegas, or you need to be taking tocotrienols, which is a form of vitamin E, or the importance of a liquid multivitamin. I don't have to give you the scientific background or the clinical research, but we've got top-notch scientists and research and doctors that can do that. And I'm grateful that they have aligned with Kyani. They've consulted on the products. They helped develop them and refine them. And so that was very important to me because, again, we're going into the marketplace. We want to offer something that has value to people. We don't want to just try to go to people and try to sell them something. We want to offer them something that has value and can impact their lives. So let's talk about the industry. Network marketing industry generates over $120 billion a year. And so a person in the crowd might ask, why do I want to be a part of that industry? Well, that industry is bigger than, the NFL. It's bigger than a lot of the movie entertainment business. And the reason why it's so attractive is because people are looking for options. They're looking for financial freedom. And there are a lot of companies out there. What we have to do is be able to recognize why we want to be a part of Kyani, what separates it from all the other companies. And from this presentation tonight, hopefully you'll think about three things. For me, it was, who are we partnered with, which was the Hansons and the Taylors. What are the products that we're offering? And how, as a business owner, are we going to be compensated? Those are the three things that I kind of looked at. As an engineer, I was thinking, okay, I want to break these things down. But what was important is, who am I doing business with? What products we're offering, and how are we going to be compensated? So the health and wellness industry generates over $500 billion a year, which means we're in the right place, because people are already spending money on the products that we offer. We're just informing them, hey, we've got something better. We have something that has something that your product does not have. And by word of mouth advertising, we're able to generate a business for ourselves that can be very lucrative, and it's known as, what we'll talk about later, is called residual income, which, if we work traditional jobs, we know that trading hours for dollars or working for someone, it's called linear income, okay? If we stop working, we don't get paid. But what wealthy people understand is a term called residual income, which means doing a task or doing a job one time and getting paid over and over and over again for it. And so that's what's exciting about the industry that we're aligned with here in network marketing. We're able to make residual income. We're able to offer products that have a high desirability in the marketplace, and we've basically positioned ourselves into the right niche in the marketplace. We can go anywhere in the world and offer these products to anyone. All right, nutritionals and skincare. And so this is the one thing, in being a customer, and obviously we've just launched our skincare, but with our nutraceuticals, we have three main products. And those three main products have been the same since we got started in this business. We've got a liquid multivitamin called Kyani Sunrise. Very simple to take because it's in liquid form and because it's food and plant-based. It's readily absorbed into our bodies. It's highly effective versus taking synthetic components that they really don't do the body, very much good because the body just cannot assimilate that. Our body was designed to take in food and to process it and to benefit from those forms, those natural forms. And so Kyani is based off of natural food and plant-based products. Now, what has happened in our world, and what is so desirable about our Kyani products is the fact that the nutrition that over 90% of the world gets today, the food content that they have does not provide the adequate nutrition for them. And that explains why in the last decade, although we've had huge advancements in technology, the rate of disease has actually increased. Hasn't gone down. There's more incidences of cancer and heart disease and more deaths due to the pharmaceutical industry than we've ever had. And so you have to ask yourself, why is that? What is it that's missing from people's diets? And so Kyani has kind of filled that void by providing products that are food and plant-based that kind of fill the void from the foods that we're eating today. And so they're very attractive. So everybody really in the world today should be supplementing their diet in order to get what they need from a nutritional standpoint to help fight off disease. Now that was attractive to me because my parents and my genealogy, my grandparents, they either die of heart disease or they die of cancer. And so the first thing I'm thinking about when Kyani was introduced to me was, what can I do to help offset that? I want to live as long as I can. I want to be able to enjoy my family. And so it kind of struck me. It's like, well, knowing that most disease is caused by inflammation, and I think it was over 85% of that is based off of dietary intake. I was like, wow, I really can affect or change my lifestyle or what my, the family history has been. And so that was exciting for me. But getting back to those three products, Kyani Sunrise, it's a liquid multivitamin based off the Alaskan blueberry. It's very high in antioxidants, and it's combined with 22 other superfoods to help it, basically make it very easy to take. We take 1 ounce in the morning every single day. We combine that with another product called Nitro Effects, which is an extract of a noni. And what that does and what they've discovered is that the extract of the noni, not just the fruit itself, but the plant and the root, actually stimulates a production of nitric oxide in our body. Now, nitric oxide is a gas, and what it does is it helps to smooth the muscle cells in our veins and arteries. And so what that means is increased blood flow. And doctors originally came across this in a synthetic form when they were trying to help heart patients increase blood flow to the heart. But what it's most known by is a product called Viagra. Now, Viagra is used for sexual function. What they found out is that when they actually increase blood flow to the heart, it actually increased blood flow to other areas of the body. And so it's been more famous because it aids in sexual function, and that is a very important part of being healthy and functioning in our society, no doubt about it. And people are excited about it. But we've been able to come up with a product that's all natural. It's not synthetic, but a natural product that stimulates nitric oxide in your body. And so not only does it help with blood pressure and other diseases which are based off of constriction of arteries and vessels, but it helps to improve workouts and recovery from exercise. A lot of people that are in the sports world love these products. You know, if you talk to somebody in the gym about nitric oxide, 8 out of 10 people are going to already know what nitric oxide is. And so Kyani really has some products that are geared not only for our health, but also for performance athletes. And that NitroFX product is awesome for people that suffer from diabetes and various diseases. In fact, we just spent a week up in northern Alberta with a good friend of mine that he actually gave me my first job in high school. And I told him, I said, hey, we're going to go spend some time up in northern Alberta. I want you and your wife to come. And he's had diabetes for the last 30 years. And he's tried to ignore it for pretty much his entire life. Well, now he's paying the price for it. He's almost lost his foot. He had quadruple bypass. He had his artery in his neck cleaned out. And he lost vision in his one eye. And it's just sad because I've been able to help him get on the Kyani products, but I wish we had it a long time ago that I could have provided this, help him in his thing. But people, there is such a need for what we have. It really does make a difference in people's lives. And so I'm excited for the products that we have. The Sunset product is an omega-3 tocotrienol. If you don't know what tocotrienol, that's okay. I didn't either. But when I was done, I went and I Googled it on the internet. I was like, okay, what is a tocotrienol? Tocotrienol is a form of vitamin E that you just don't get in your regular pharmacies or health food stores. Most of those vitamin E products are known as a tocopherol. But what a tocotrienol is, it's a form of vitamin E that it's basically like vitamin E on steroids. It has a lot of health benefits, and it's been very well researched. If you get on the internet, you'll be blown away by what tocotrienols can do as far as reducing inflammation, combating disease. They've got powerful effects. Combine that with an omega-3 product, which helps, again, with cardiovascular systems, as well as to help us sleep, anxiety, depression. There's various studies out there that show the benefits of combining those products together and what they can do for our life. So we call this a triangle of health. When taken together, they have a synergistic effect, which is greater than just taking one product alone. And so we've been able to benefit from taking these products over the last almost 10 years. And for me, the proof was in when I go and get my blood work or get my physical every year. I'm able to so I'm like, my dad died of heart failure, and he had high blood pressure all his life. But I've been able to track mine over the last 10 years and see my numbers and actually improve. And I'm getting old. I feel, I am. I'm getting really old. But these products help you to stay younger. They help you to live a better quality of life. And people are looking for that. We just have to be the mouthpiece to share those products with them and what they can do. So I'm grateful for those products. We've recently introduced a skincare line. And for guys, initially, they look at skincare and they're thinking, okay, it's makeup, right? Seriously, how many guys in here, when they heard skincare or you hear of skincare, you think of makeup? I guess, okay, there's a few guys that are willing to admit this. But it's true. And that's what I think. But it's not. The skin is our largest organ on our body, right? And people, women included, very concerned about how they look on the outside. Not just how they feel on the inside, but how they look on the outside. And so Kyani has launched a product that's based on science, but also based on natural products. Again, we are a food and plant-based company looking to offer products that not only make a difference, but are not full of synthetic compounds. And so the Flora system was designed based off of the stem cell research from an apple. And what they were be able to identify, that is when they applied this to certain things, that it actually preserved what it was applied to a lot longer. It resisted oxidation. And so that's basically what we're doing. As we're aging, our bodies are oxidizing, okay? They're oxidizing all the time. We are being attacked by oxidation. And so what do people say? Well, you need to increase your antioxidants. And so Kyani does that. They do it from the inside, but now we're doing it from the outside as well. And so they've developed this product, a skincare line, that is helping us not only to feel younger on the inside, but look better on the outside as well. And so it's a very large industry that we're a part of. Well, I'll skip ahead here. In fact, we're going to skip the product video for tonight. I think so, right? So, with that being said, the three things that I talked about earlier about taking in. Who are you partnered with? What are the products that you're able to offer to the marketplace? Do they have value? Are you in the right industry? I mean, if the health and wellness industry is a $500 billion a year industry, if you're a business owner, would that be an industry in which you would want to start a business? And the answer is yes, because that's where dollars are being spent. And so Kyani is capitalizing that by offering products that are food and plant-based that we feel are superior to any other product out there. And so we feel like we're very well positioned to capitalize not only on this industry, but to help make a difference in people's lives at the same time. Now, the third component that I talked about was the compensation plan. And I'm going to have my wife come up and kind of share the Kyani compensation plan, because I know she is very good at helping others create their businesses and be successful in their business. But I also know she's very good at spending money as well. And so I feel like she'd be very good at explaining this part of the thing. So please help me do a favor. Welcome, Black Diamond, Becky Bursell.
Wow. I adore this man. We grew up in this business and we're taught to like cross-edify and be very professional, but then your spouse introduces you and you just kind of melt. So we are so excited to be in Calgary, you guys. We got a chance to spend this last week with some great friends, just like he talked about, up in northern Canada. And we obviously get to stay in contact with so many of you. So it's nice that we actually get to see you in person. Sometimes we feel like the events are our family reunions. It's the only time we get to see you guys, and sometimes we're going 10 different ways. So this is much more exciting for us to really get to know you guys a little bit and to share something so important to us. There are very few opportunities that come along in your lifetime where not only does it increase the quality of life, but it increases your excitement for life, your purpose for life. And when Kyani came along, I just instinctively recognized that. I was so excited about not only having that own purpose for our own family, but playing any little part and showing other people how to accomplish those same things. And if you take nothing else away from this tonight, is just getting to know John and Becky a little bit and recognize if we can make this happen, there's a really good shot for everybody in this room. So it's not about, again, how talented you are or how well you speak on stage or how many people you know. Really, your secret weapon is persistence and consistency. Those two things, I mean, in school and growing up, those things got me in a lot of trouble. You know, when somebody says no and you keep asking and you keep asking and you keep asking, here it makes you a lot of money. And those things kind of finally paid off as far as applying them to Kyani. So my background is a stay-at-home mom. John and I got married. I was 18. He was 22, which is not one of those things you recommend to everyone else, but you wouldn't change for yourself. Luckily, still married to the man of my dreams after 23 years. We've been involved with Kyani for almost 10 years. I can't even believe that. And it has been an absolute dream. I mean, so much more than we had expected it to be. And when we got involved, just like John talked about, it was just those three products. In fact, actually, when we went to that first event, it was just the Sunrise and the Sunset products that we had, and the Nitro product came on a few months later. And it was almost like they were all just meant to be together. And for anybody that's taken the products, in fact, can I just have a hand If you raise your hand if you felt like the products have made a huge difference in your life, or you know an incredible story. That's awesome to see. Thank you guys. I know if we started the thing where people come up and give testimonials, we'd probably be here all night, because I could give a million myself. Sometimes it's frustrating, and you don't want to talk too much about the products, because with everything that we've seen, how great these products are, people have a hard time believing how great they are. So we're not even asking you to buy into our experiences. We're encouraging you to experience your own. Is to at least have enough faith in the science behind these products, the last 10 years of experience, that you can go out and really see this difference. Because I think sometimes we get involved and people say, well, I need to take the products first because I have to be excited about something before I go sell it, which I can respect that. We were in a place financially where we needed something to work, so I wasn't willing to put off 30 days of income in order to make that happen. I turned that box around and saw all the ingredients. I knew how there was a market for nutritionals. I knew a ton of people that were spending a lot of money, including my own parents. How many of you guys have a parent's house where you could go to and you could open up a pantry door and products would fall out on top of you, right? And they've bought everything, but yet they're still buying things because they really haven't found something that's really effective. And so to see my own parents be able to clean out their vitamin pantries and just replace them with these, and to watch them refer everybody else. I mean, my own father, who had to have stents put in his heart a few years ago, and when he started taking these products, it was really exciting to see my mom be so adamant about him taking it. My dad is not a naturalist by any means. He spends all of his time working on his finances, his faith, his family. That's where he spends his time. And then my mom's full-time job is to worry about his health. That's pretty much how that relationship works. So once mom understood how great these products were, she just made sure he took his sunrise every morning with breakfast, and he had a sunset when he brushed his teeth at night, and she'd make sure nitro was making it in there as well. And 4 months later, he went back to his cardiologist, and his blood work just blew away his cardiologist. His cardiologist came in and was like, what are you doing? How did your cholesterol go down 40 points? How is it your blood pressure is 110/70, like a healthy 16-year-old athlete? How is it your triglycerides went down? What are you doing? And he's like, Kyani, that's what I'm doing. And his doctor's, is that yoga? I don't know what that is. So he had to explain to his cardiologist. Anyway, long story short, it made a huge difference. And anytime you've ever experienced your body telling you what you can and cannot do, it's really easy to get excited about products that can have an impact in your life. And that's what we have experienced. Even down to some of the smallest things. We were in, again, how many of you guys know where Grand Prairie is? We were just past Grand Prairie in Spirit River. And somehow we still got cell phone reception, and I'm on Instagram, and one of my girlfriends posts that her son sprained his ankle in football. She showed a picture, just swollen up, black and blue, and he was going to work out with a college in 2 days. And she was frantic. Does anybody know a great remedy for a sprained ankle, and how to get the inflammation down, and how's he going to work out and show the coaches what he can do? And I said, you need to go straight to my house. My son is there. He'll let you in the pantry, get 3 bottles of nitro. He takes it, puts it on topically. Anyway, long story short, she sent me a picture of him working out with the coaches and had a great experience. And she's like, when you get back, you and I need to sit down and talk about this thing. So let's talk a little bit about the business side, because whether you do decide to get involved in Kyani or not, most everybody we come in contact have a good heart. And they want to have a great impact on people around them. And the next time you hear someone complain about their migraines and their blood pressure and their child's sprained ankle, it's going to be really easy to say, look, I can't give you any guarantees, but I know of some products that are doing great things for great people all across the world. Would you be open to learning more about them? Especially when you can drop off a free sample. Do you know in 10 years, no one's ever told me no to free? They're like, yes, come on over. Drop it off. I'll try it. It's amazing how that works. So those 7-day trial packs make a huge difference. But whether you get involved tonight, whether you're interested in the opportunity or not, you'll probably end up referring people to the products anyway, which kind of brings up why we're here as far as the business opportunity. So let's talk about how we actually make money. And I'm just going to briefly go over the skincare because it is really exciting. I mean, I am one of those girls that hardly ever took her makeup off growing up. who was really using soap on her face and a little moisturizer every now and then and sunscreen. But it's amazing how when you get into your 30s and your 40s, you start caring about that stuff a little bit more than when you were in your 20s. And so to have these products come out, and for the first 10 years, we talked about looking great from the inside out, which I'm still a huge believer in. But also knowing that those same products that are in our Triangle Pack are in our skincare, along with a lot of other great benefits. And anybody that's been in skincare and you're looking for all those peptides and plant stem cells, and you understand how many women pay thousands of dollars for all of these laser procedures that they could replace with these products, you guys will get excited as well. So the cleanser, which is awesome, it's really soft. It actually combines with a toner. The serum, which is kind of our flagship product. I mean, you'll put it on your hands. How many of you guys have ever had, you're out in the sun too long, or you haven't hydrated very well, and your hands look 20 years older than you do? I literally put it on my face, and then I rub it all over my hands as well, because it's a dead giveaway of how well or how hydrated you are. But that is a way to create that sloughing effect, to where you're regenerating those cells. When you're in your 20s, it happens every 20 days. When you're in your 40s, it happens every 60 to 90 days. So this speeds up that process where you can still keep that fresh, young. How many of us remember in our 20s when we had those glowy cheeks? You didn't even need blush, you were just glowy cheeks. It's time to get back to that. So all the guys are like, nah, 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 nah. But we like glowy cheeks on guys too. So just so you know, it works great. And the day cream, obviously the night cream, these are things that are already in our routines. It's just giving something that's so effective. And if you haven't been following Kyani on Facebook and Instagram and see all the incredible before and afters, it will blow your mind. Blow your mind. So we're excited to share all of those things and just add to the opportunity. Kyani is a 30-day money-back guarantee, which means you have absolutely no risk in trying the products. We're not locking anybody into a long-term contract. We're literally letting the products be the star of the show and have you experience them. Prime, how many of you guys are familiar with Amazon Prime? For anyone that's not, if you ever get involved with Amazon Prime, you get really upset when you have to pay for shipping. You're like, who does that? You don't pay for shipping. It's just Prime. And Kyani has created that as well. So all of your auto ship or any samples you want, if you actually do a one-time membership, you can get free shipping the entire year. I mean, you could buy something every single day and they're going to send it to you on that Prime account. So we're trying to help save people a lot of money as well. This kind of shows you, as far as the opportunity, just what John was talking about, as far as linear and residual income. All we really knew was trading our time for dollars. And just like John talked about, 60 hours a week turned into 70 hours a week, turned into 80 hours a week. And I felt more like a single mom than a stay-at-home mom. And when you have to wake your children up in the middle of the night to spend time with them, it's probably not the ideal situation. And that's kind of where we were at. I call it the land of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's where we were. We just weren't willing to be that uncomfortable anymore. And it doesn't matter. It's amazing how when you make money, and John was making a great income. He was actually bringing in, 6 figures a year. But it's amazing how if you make $100,000 a year, somehow you spend $120,000 a year. Anybody experience that? Oh, we're just the only ones, is what you're saying? I do like to spend. I think he already said that as well, too. But I call it being broke at a higher level. It doesn't matter. In fact, some people that make more money, they're more broke than someone that makes $40,000 a year. You owe more people more money. And we like to reward ourselves. And we found the best way to get ahead of that is to create cash flow. And when I grew up, my dad, even though he works a traditional business, he's very entrepreneur spirited. And he wouldn't buy any of us our cap and gowns in high school till we read a book. And he gave us a choice, either How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Who Moved My Cheese. And if you haven't read any of those, I highly recommend all 3 of them. So we had to read, so I picked Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then he quizzed us, and then he bought my cap and gown afterwards. And so it was kind of in a way to encourage us to do that. But I remember the cash flow quadrant, if anybody's read the book, and how the best way, you make steps where, again, you work for someone else. Then you get to a point where you own your own business, but it only runs if you show up. Then you get to a point where you're leveraging your time through a team of efforts. You have employees, you have management, it runs without you, and you're making an overriding percentage, usually of sales. And of course, the last one is when your money works for you. And it's learning how to make those steps. And what was amazing was we actually found all of those through Kyani. And hopefully you guys will recognize those as we go through those. So the first way is on our own customers. So working for yourself. All the time that you put in. Let's say my mom becomes your customer. And the beautiful part about Kyani, I think what keeps people from owning their own business is the risk, the unknown, kind of the fear factor of it all, the overhead. Maybe you're not familiar with accounting. You're worried about that part of it, taxes, whatever it is. And with Kyani, all of that is taken care of for us. How many business owners in the room? You currently own a business or have at some point owned a business. How many of you it costs more than $1,000 to start your business? How many of you it costs more than $1,000 just to design your website? What's crazy is most of us, look at that on a traditional basis and realize that it takes money to make money. The awesome part about Kyani, and I'll ask those same business owners, if you could have made a one-time investment of $1,000 to never have to worry about accounting, tracking, shipping, collections, customer service, inventory, retail space, overhead, employee taxes, and that one-time cost covered that for the life of your business. How many of you guys think that might have been money well spent? So with Kyani, there's a lot more value than just owning your own business. It's called owning a business without your business owning you. And you have a hundreds of millions of dollars a year company that does all of that for us. Our job is to do the one thing that most business owners want to do, which is grow their business. It's just they don't have time because they're too busy managing their business. And every new hour, new customer, new distributor that you build in your team, you actually grow your income every single month. How many of you guys could get excited about doubling your income every single year? How many of you guys have a hard time believing that even exists? So we have experienced that in Kyani. There's never been a year where we haven't grown, because there's never been a year that we haven't grown the business. Because every new hour, we could sit back and do pretty much nothing for the next few years and our income would still grow. But that's because of the great leadership and the people. Can I tell you, the smartest person in the room will look at this opportunity and recognize, oh, this is great if I work this hard, but it's amazing if I find people that are better than me. And that's exactly what John and I did. We found people that were more ambitious than we are, that were even harder workers than we were, that had even bigger vision than we did, that had a bigger network that we did. And we found that all of us collectively were a pretty great team. And we kind of had this meeting where we threw our commitment flags on the table and we just said, you don't quit on me, I don't quit on you, and no matter what, we just make this happen. And every single one of those people are living that Kyani dream. In fact, they're all members of the millionaire clubs in Kyani. They're some of our best friends. Some of them we didn't even know before Kyani. And it's amazing how all of that has enriched our lives. So let's get back to this. On your own customers, when you get involved in Kyani, you actually get a website when you make your investment, buy your starter pack. And it's live the moment you become a distributor. It's amazing. Mine's really creative. It's beckybursell.kyani.net. Actually, it's .com now. Back in the day, it was .net. And going there, so send mom to your website. She picks out the products that she wants, name, address, credit card information one time, and every 30 days on an auto shipment program, that product shows up to her front door. You don't have to deliver anything. You don't stock up on inventory. You never collect a check from a friend or a family member. It goes directly to the company, and then every 30 days that product goes out to them, the company sends you a percentage, month after month, year after year, for the life of that customer. We've had customers that have been our customers for over 9 years, still to this day. That's how great these products are. They get great Christmas gifts, by the way. We send them the Harry and David baskets and tell them how much we appreciate them supporting our business still after all these years. And then we get thank you notes from them as well on how great the products have benefited their lives. But there is no cap or limit. We have people in our organization that make an extra $40 a month from their customer, or we have people that make over $4,000 a month from their own customers, just from telling people about these products. What's the worst thing that happens, you guys? Someone says, no, thanks for thinking of me. No, it's not for me. How many of you guys, you still have a pulse after that happened, right? We didn't die. We're still alive. And we move on. Here's why Kyani gets scary to some people, because we care too much about what people think. Who's going to say yes? Who's going to say no? I left my first presentation already knowing these are going to be my first 3 people. And none of those people still to this day have signed up in Kyani. Can you imagine if I had banked my whole future on making those 3 people sign up? Instead, it's more like, hey, how about we present this? to as many people as possible. Those that get it, great. Those that don't, we still love you, but we're still moving on. Because the people that say no, I promise you, none of them are going to pay your mortgage next month. None of them are going to put your kids through college. None of them are going to create a retirement. None of them are going to give you the life you're looking for. The only person that's going to make that happen for you is you. And for anybody that has a work ethic, an ambition, you will lose sleep over what you can do here. Because those are the only two things you need to become successful. And if you have it, game on. And it is a fun game. Can you guys tell we have a little bit of fun in what we do? Again, moving on. Second way we make income is through a team. That's kind of that next phase of that quadrant. It's the idea of making 1% of 100 people's efforts, not just 100% of your own. Now, I've had people come to me and say, gosh, I just can't imagine making money on other people. Well, I can give you a few scenarios. Anybody have a boss in the room? Believe it or not, either your boss makes money on what you do, or the manager, or the owner. It's kind of how life is. I don't know any scenario where that's not the case. Here, you actually provide value. And here, you don't make any money unless other people become successful as well. That's really where the biggest value financially is. So the difference is, in corporate America, to move up the ladder, you have to wait for someone to move, or die, or be indicted, right? To move up the corporate ladder. Here, there are unlimited positions at the top. Do you know every person in this room could be a double black diamond with Kyani? They're gonna be excited to write that check every single month. Every single month. Because there is no cap. There is no lid. This is as big as you want it to be. And you have a compensation plan that will actually reward that year after year after year. So in doing that, let's imagine we build in our team what's called a 3x3 system, where we teach everyone really quickly how to get 3 customers and 3 distributors. That's kind of our job, is to get people out of the gates, creating their success stories, getting excited about putting products in people's hands, and already building their team. By doing that, they're also already reaching ranks, they're already making great paychecks, literally hundreds of dollars every single month. The company has a bonus plan right now where you can make $1,000 your first month, just for helping a few people get started and showing them how to get customers as well. But let's say that we duplicate that. 3 becomes 9, becomes 27, becomes 81, becomes 243. And if it just duplicates, if 3 people recruit 3 people that recruit 3 people, and then we teach them all how to get mom, sister, best friend as customers, you're talking about thousands of people in your organization. But how many people did you actually recruit? 3. So this is more about duplication. Now, I'm going to tell you guys some numbers, and I don't say these numbers to impress you, just to recognize potentially what you can do and how important it is to take a vested interest. Because most of the time in network marketing, what keeps people from getting involved is they think they're going to have to become pushy or salesy or obnoxious to do well. Do you know, I've never had someone annoy me and think, gosh, I really want to work with that person. It doesn't happen. We want you to be you. We want you to share something great. If you have to push something on someone, if you have to convince someone to do the business, you're going to have to convince them to work, and that negates the whole concept of what we're doing. So instead, if you left here today and your mindset was, I'm going to give everybody I know the chance to tell me no, this will be the easiest thing you've ever done. Easiest thing you've ever done, instead of getting hung up on who says yes and who says no. So duplicating that, you're talking about great income. Now you're making an overriding percentage of your team of sales. Real estate's built the exact same way. In the US, if you have your broker's license and you want to sell 1,000 homes in your area, you're going to do that faster through 100 agents than just one, right? And if you get really good at investing in them, they're competent, they're ambitious, they're educated, their skill set is there, they know what they're doing. Not only do you make a percentage of your own sales, you make an overriding percentage of what your team is selling. It is the exact same concept here, but you're not limited by boundaries. You don't have to have a license. There's no resume. We don't take a credit check. How great is that, by the way? I probably wouldn't have been invited if that had been the point when we started. So being able to build that just through your organization is pretty exciting. Earn matching checks is probably the most lucrative part of what we do, if you do it right. Because if you take a vested interest in other people, you'll actually make a percentage of every paycheck that goes out to your entire organization. Now let me rephrase that, because I was more excited than you guys about that. Like just a little more excited than you guys. a percentage of every paycheck that goes out to your entire organization. So when John and I started almost 10 years ago, we personally recruited 3 people. And then we showed them how to do the same thing and them how to do the same thing. Within our first 30 days, we had over 700 distributors in our organization. Nope. That was not us. That was recruiting people that were better than us. We just opened up our home. We helped them with the presentations. We all pretended like we knew what we were doing. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced tocotrienols 10 million times. I'm pretty sure my business partner, Angel Avera, instead of antioxidants, he was saying antibiotics. Like it got a little crazy, but yet everybody signed up. In fact, the first 30 days, not one person told us no, which is not the typical experience. But here's why. We were so driven in where we were going. We knew vision-wise exactly what we expected. We knew with or without them we were going to make it happen. We just knew it was going to be more fun with them. We expressed that to them. We told them, if you don't quit on us, we're not going to quit on you, and we held true to that. And people were scared not to follow us. Now, when the first person said no, Angel and I were still doing the presentation, and he's like, it's just not for me. And we're like, so anyway, when you get started, you want to talk to these people, you're going to have a whole meeting. And he's like, no, it's just not for me, you guys. And we're like, and anyway, when you talk to people about the products, and then Angel nudges me, and he's like, I think he said no. And I'm like, what? Why? And we kind of looked at him like, what's wrong with you? And then we realized people have other plans. We get it. And it's not for everybody. I'm just saying anyone can have success. I'd love to tell every person in this room, you'll make tens of millions of dollars. I can't make that guarantee. What I can tell you is everyone can. Anyone can. And we don't get to dictate it. The company doesn't dictate it. You get to decide it by how hard you work. This is not who signed up first makes the most money. This is whoever works the hardest makes the most money. I also know, I think the highest paid distributor to ever sign up in Kyani has yet to sign an application. And in the next 12 months, they will, and they'll surpass what everybody else has done in the next 2 years. I mean, if you could double what we've done the last 10 years in the next 2 years, you think there might be an opportunity? So focus on matching checks. The more success stories you create, the more income you create. So when John and I, here we are 10 years later, we've probably personally, you guys, in 10 years, we've probably personally recruited less than 60 people. And I'll bet half those people recruited themselves, quite honestly. They wanted to be a part of what was going on and the excitement, because we created the environment and it was exciting to be a part of it. Now, here we are 10 years later and have over 500,000 distributors in our organization. And that's not, I appreciate that. That's, again, not to impress you, but to understand what a duplication process. If all you do is put your head down, and again, you don't look left, you don't look right, you don't give yourself a backup plan, there's no exit strategy. We just show everyone how to get 3 customers and 3 distributors. And then we show them how to get 3 customers and 3 distributors. And then we create sapphires and diamonds, and you're making matching checks on all of those. We were excited because the matching checks start at 15%. And let me give you an example. You find somebody like Paula, and you help Paula make $1,000 next month. You're going to get a $150 check every time she makes $1,000, right? How many of you guys like Paula a little bit more now, right? Go find Marifel and help her make $10,000 a month. Every time she makes 10 grand, you'd make $1,500 every single month. Go find a John Bursell, help him make 100 grand a month. You'd make a $15,000 paycheck every time he makes 100 grand. How many of you guys like John a little bit more? That's usually what happens. But those are the kind of stories that go on in Kyani every single day. So whether you see yourself as a superstar or you're already making a list in your head of the superstars you know, there is a compensation plan that benefits everyone. It's just how you play that part. But hopefully, in this process, you will recognize yourself as that superstar, because every person has it in them. What's fun is to watch someone actually recognize that, and you get to witness it, and you get to cheer them on the whole entire way. It's probably the most addictive part of what we do. I wish our products were as addictive, actually. That'd be really cool. They're actually really great. So these are your getting started packages. So your first one, and these are all in Canadian, obviously. So $525, $785, $12.99. I tell everybody, if you are just excited to share this with mom and your sister, like you're not planning, you don't think you're gonna ever have a meeting, you're just thinking, gosh, if I could find a way to just pay for my products, they get covered every single month, I'll probably talk to my sister and my best friend. This is the package for you. You've got your first month supply of product, you've got a handful of samples you can hand out to people, you have a position within the company, your own website, you can generate income, you can sell the product around what you're currently doing. For people that say, no, I want to make thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, you want to get on this pack. Because the only thing that will slow you down in your Kyani business is when somebody says, I'm excited about it, I just would like to try it. Like, what does it taste like? How does it make you feel? And if your response is, I don't know, I hear it's great, just sign up, it doesn't go over very well. So the only way to continually, and otherwise you're going to be calling other distributors, because this happens all the time, hey, can I buy this from you? Can I get this from you? But if you actually get the $785 package, you get your first month supply, the 7-day trial packs, all the samples that you need to really launch your business. There's a reason why we have perfected these packs over the years, because we know exactly which products and how much that you need in order to really get the products out there and make a difference in getting to some of the ranks and starting to create your own success story. The last one are for people like, nope, I want to break records, I want to beat Becky to double black diamond. That's your pack. And game on. I love a competition. And you can. That's what's exciting about what we do. But that $12.99 pack will allow you to really talk to a lot of people. Let's be real. If I told you go put 40 people in a room, I'll write you a check for $5,000. How hard is it to put 40 people in a room? Half of you guys don't even care who those 40 people are, right? You're just like, hey, come over, I'll tell you what we're doing later. And you get urgent about what you're doing. There's something to be said about someone that can share excitement and urgency, because most people outside these doors are not excited about anything. When you approach someone and you're excited, there's a law of attraction. There's a fire in you, and it draws people to you. Have you guys ever seen one of those mosquito things, the light that they're drawn to it? That needs to be you. You need to be the mosquito trap. You need to light yourself on fire. I promise everyone will come to watch. Have a little excitement. And for those of you that think you're excited, you might need to tell your face right now, because I don't think your face knows you're excited. Other people have to know you're excited and draw it to you. Because here's what's great. You have something to back up that excitement. It's not hype when you have substance, when you can actually give them something real. And here's the guarantee I can give you. I have never seen anything more real than Kyani. If you do anything, you get one customer, you make a paycheck. You get more customers, you make more paychecks. You guys want to know the secret? If you talk to some people, you'll make some money. If you talk to a lot of people, you'll make a lot of money. If you talk to no peoples, you make no monies. That's how simple it is. It's not a get rich quick. It's not you sign up, you're entitled to anything. It's you sign up, you go to work, come hell or high water, you're going to make this happen. That's the kind of urgency, the kind of persistence you have to have in anything in order to achieve greatness. Because most people are okay with extraordinary. One of my favorite books is Good to Great. Biggest enemy of being great is settling for good. And a lot of people are living a good life. But if they have ever experienced great, if you've ever had a taste of great, you're ruined for life. A residual income will do that. I don't care if it's $100 or $100,000 a month. You get a residual paycheck, and it's impossible. You become unemployable. You can never work for someone else ever again, because you know there's an option. And you know of everybody else around you, hopefully you know you can depend on yourself more than anyone. And your paycheck's now in your hands to be able to do that. So let's talk about how we start to make some great money. And we talked about the power of 3. So 3 Fluoresce customers, 3 Triangle of Health customers, 3 new business partners. We will actually do presentations with you, for you. How many of you guys, just the idea of standing on stage and doing a presentation, you're already like, I'm out. And you guys might not believe this, but when I got started in network marketing, if somebody had told me I'd actually have to present, I probably would not have signed the application. I mean, stay-at-home mom, married at 18, no college degree, 2 little kids running around. No, I wasn't even on anybody's list. I literally overheard people at church talking about this. And I turned around to these ladies and I was like, what are you girls scheming about? And then I was a target. Then I was on a list. But nobody, when they sat down and said, think of the most successful people you know, the hardest workers, the people that are looking for opportunities, nobody wrote Becky's name down. So no prejudging. I promise you. Don't think who will, who won't, who already has money, who doesn't, who likes this product, who doesn't. Because I promise you, you really don't know what's going on in somebody's life. Nobody knew that that was exactly what I needed at that time, and that we would run with this and change things. I promise you all have a Becky Bursell, a Brandon Stevens, an Angel Olvera, a James Bradford in your life. You just haven't talked to them yet. And you better before I do, because it will happen. So let's talk about some of the ranks. This company is so transparent. I mean, if you want to know what somebody's making, we publish average incomes every single year. I've never seen a network marketing company that actually shows you what to expect to make at every single position. We show you the lowest paid, the highest paid, and the average paid at every single position. Do you know most people go in for a job interview and don't even know how much they're going to get paid? They don't even tell you till they offer you the job? That sounds like a scam to me. No, thank you. Like, I want to know what I'm working for. Show me the money, right? Like, show me what I'm working for, because won't I go work harder for it if I know what I'm working for? So exactly what you see is what you get. Our average income at Pearl, I mean, you're talking about having your 3 distributors get 3 customers, and they do the same thing, and you're already at Pearl making an extra $659 a month. What could the average household do with an extra almost $700 a month coming in every single month? Every single month, you guys. You're talking over $8,000 a year. That's a really great family vacation every single year. That's a heck of a Christmas going on every single year. Those are car payments. There's so many that's a new house for some people, upgrade. So it's a matter of looking bigger than that. Because again, I was more excited than you guys about that kind of money, but everybody in Calgary is making big dough, I guess. How about this? You put on an old pair of jeans, there's $700 in the pocket. How many of you guys are excited? All right. Time to go home. All right, Sapphire, you guys. Help other people get to Jade and Pearl. You become a Sapphire. Our average Sapphire is making over $1,500 a month. You're talking about qualifying for the car program. It's so crazy to me, the things that the company puts in place. I mean, here you're talking about putting money down on a car and covering your payment every single month. It starts off at $500 a month. You can even go up to Diamond, where it's $1,200 a month. And then you get to Green Diamond, and it's $2,500 a month. Do you know they have a $5,000 a month and a $10,000 a month car allowance? Woo! What? Okay. Because we learned from experience, there is no car on the planet that costs $10,000 a month. Not even the Batmobile costs $10,000 a month. So we got permission from the company when we hit Black Diamond. Can we make it a lifestyle allowance? Because my biggest dream, how many of you guys have ever had a dream board? If you don't have one, get one. Make it tonight. Like, before you do anything else, do that. Because what you visualize is what you think about, and what you think about dictates your actions, and it makes a huge difference. If you don't believe me, test me. Because I love to be right. Prove me wrong. Test me. It works every single time. But if you don't already have an idea of where you're going, then what are you working for? So on that dream board, the very first thing I did was put this gorgeous houseboat. Some of you guys have heard me talk about this before. We grew up in California, and our favorite place to go is Lake Powell, which is a 160-mile-long lake that borders Utah and Arizona. It's basically a lake in the Grand Canyon. The water's 80 degrees. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just one of the most majestic places on Earth. And if everywhere we've traveled in the world, guess where my favorite place on the planet is? Lake Powell, exactly. The problem is there's no beaches. So in order to really enjoy Lake Powell, you have to have a houseboat. And these houseboats are not cheap. The gas alone is like $5,000 a week, basically. It's ridiculous. So my family would save up every few years, and there'd be 5 or 6 of our families all go in on a houseboat, and we would go every couple of years, and we just looked forward to it like nothing before. So when I got involved in Kyani, I said, when we get to Black Diamond, that $10,000 a month is going to a houseboat. And now we have this 9-bedroom houseboat that sits on the lake 24/7, and anytime we want to escape, we escape. There's no cell phone reception. We're actually going next week. My kids have to have a real conversation with me because their phones don't work. It's heaven. I love it. So whatever it is for you, maybe it's a beach house, maybe it's, who knows, but it is literally the icing on the cake. That's what it is. It's just a way for you to treat yourself. Because there was never a point, John and I growing up, where we ever would have spent $10,000 a month on anything. Because that money could go towards a college education. Like, we were trying to be, conservative and realist. Even as much as I love to spend money, that was ridiculous. That was out of control. But when the company comes along and sets it aside specifically for you to go treat yourself, all of a sudden you start shopping. You start looking around. You may not have been a car person before Kyani. I promise you will become a car person. All of a sudden you know every car that's out there. So Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald. What if you could help 10 people in your team make an extra $1,500 a month? Get a car that is paid for every month by Kyani, and you could get to a position called Diamond, where our average Diamond makes over $13,000 a month. You're driving a $1,200 a month car that company pays for. You have a free vacation every single year. And if you've never experienced a free vacation, welcome to Kyani. It's another experience. But $13,000 a month, you're talking about more than the average doctor, attorney, scientist, CEOs of companies. 13,000. So here's why you guys are going to get excited. I am bound and determined to get you guys excited. That is not $13,000 a month you worked for. Working for. That is $13,000 a month you worked for. Does that make sense? Because how many of you guys know people? Thank you. You're excited. I'm exhausted. Okay. $13,000 a month you worked for. How many of you guys know people that have a lot of money and no time? How many know people with a lot of time and no money? And I don't think anybody wants to fall into either of those categories. So creating that residual income. If I said work with us an extra 10 hours a week over the next 3 to 5 years to make $15,000 to $20,000 a month, how many of you guys think that might be time well spent? So categorize it that way if you have to. But what's great is you can speed up that timeline at any point. The more time you put into it, the faster you're going to reach those ranks. It's very easy for someone when they actually meet and exceed what they're doing full-time outside of Kyani, they're making part-time in Kyani, to want to go into their boss and just be like, I have this eye problem. I cannot see myself working for you another day. I'm out. Right? It's very easy to want to go build your business instead of building someone else's business. Because there will be a point in your life when you add up all the hours you've worked and how many vacations you've paid for someone else's family, or how great their life has become because of how hard you work. When you start to recognize your own capabilities, your own value, and something like Kyani comes along, that's called timing. And for anyone that's in that position, like I said, we're not going to stop you. We're not going to get in your way. Our job is to help clear the way, is to be your coach. Nobody here is your boss. We're all your coaches. You're never going to, you can ask Paula. Everyone that I work with, I don't call them. If you look at my phone, I have very few outgoing calls, a lot of incoming calls, not a lot of outgoing calls. Those are the people that I work with. Because again, I'm not going to go convince them how great Kyani is. I already know what I know. Their job is to go out and experience it. My job is to coach them. Can you imagine an NBA, or let's say NHL, we're in Canada, right? NHL. Dang, that was a crazy game last night, by the way. So NHL, and let's say I'm a professional hockey coach. How crazy if I had to convince my professional players to show up to practice. Right? You'd cut them right away because there are other people dying to get on the team. That's how you need to treat your Kyani business as well. So if you're at the point where you're still having to call everyone to get them motivated, I am not a professional motivator. I am not an inspirational speaker. I am a coach. I will give you the directions, the skill set, the how-tos. At some points, you might not even like me because I'm going to tell you to do things that you're not going to want to do, but that's my job. It's not to tell you what you want to hear. It's to tell you what you need to hear. And that you can guarantee from us. We are going to tell you exactly what it takes to get where you want to go. A lot of it has to do with showing up. It's learning it and then putting it into play. And we will be there every step of the way to help you guys, every step of the way. Can you imagine? Blue diamonds, our average blue diamond makes over 25 grand a month. Our green diamonds make over 46. Our average purple diamond's making over 58. There are 4 positions above purple diamond. We don't put those numbers on here because you don't like us anymore when we put those up there. If you do not have a plan in place right now where you can make a multiple six-figure a month residual income, why not put your time here? If it took you 10 years, do that. Go into your boss tomorrow morning and say, look, I will give you my time, my heart, my effort, give up vacations, put my heart and soul into this business. At some point, I need you to pay 6 figures a month. Can I count on you to do that? It might not go over very well. Right. Here, again, this is that expectation. And if you nickel and dime this business, that's exactly what you should expect to make. If you're excited to make $1,000 a month, that's exactly what you'll make. If you're excited to make 10 grand a month, that's exactly what you should expect to make. If you can't slow down until you make 100 grand a month, that's exactly what you should expect to make. Treat it like $1 million opportunity, and that's exactly what it will turn into. Because again, the only brakes applied are the ones that you apply. So, timing's everything. We're talking about how different Kyani looks. I mean, it's so funny to me when people are like, man, if I had just seen it when you got involved. I'd be like, yeah, you wouldn't be here today. Not a lot of people are. There were a lot of people that quit in these years right here. Because a lot of things had to change in order for us to become the well-oiled machine that we are today. Between the products, the compensation plan, the advisory board, the clinical studies, I mean, literally the documentation, the incomes, the success stories, all of that is already here. There is no question what Kyani can do. We don't question what the products can do, what the company can do. At this point, it's just a matter of what you're willing to do. And the only difference between us becoming, doing a couple $100 million a year to $1 billion a year is more success stories. It's more leadership. And the reason we don't have 2,000 people in a room in Calgary today is because the leadership is just starting. And it doesn't matter what we've done in the last year or 2 years. It's a matter of what you want to do in the next 6 months to 12 months to even 10 years down the road. How great when we have to put a stadium together to put everybody in Calgary in one room. And at that point, you will be the most excited people in the room. Because they'll all be in your team. You knew about it. You're the one that went out and hit the pavement, started talking to people. Again, you left here saying, I don't care who says yes and who says no. I'm just going to give everybody the chance to look at what we're doing. So at the end of the presentation, I know you guys are just waiting for the blonde girl to stop talking. That will happen, I promise. But these are your options. If you just can't imagine making more money than you are right now, congratulations, by the way. You're not interested in health or products, or you already have a plan. We respect that. We understand it. Become a customer. Try the product. Support the people that are here. I promise you, you're going to experience things with these products that you never expected. I was not my biggest testimonial of the product. If I had quit because the product, I felt more energy. I slept better at night. They weren't monumental things that I was thinking of. I was also only 32 when I got started. But then when I introduced this to my best friend who had fibromyalgia, and my dad who was dealing with heart disease, and my son who has ADHD, if anybody in the room has a child with ADD or ADHD, you need to go run to them with these products. If anybody's had an experience where your son used to cry himself to sleep because nobody invited him to a birthday party because he was too hyper and everybody thought something was wrong with him. If you've ever had that experience, I'm not going to cry, gosh darn it. If you've ever had that experience as a mom, it's one of the hardest things when you have to go and meet with a teacher every 2 weeks to put another plan in place on how she has to deal with your child. Those are not the kind of experiences that are easily handled. And there's not a lot of answers for moms other than somebody wanting to medicate your kid, which just was never an option. My response was not typical mom. Mine was, I'm so sorry that I know how to handle my child better than you do. Let me give you some tips. And I will be here every 2 weeks to figure this out, because we're not medicating him. Anyway, for him to have the experiences that he has where he's now on honor roll and has these incredible leadership skills and is just like his mom. What gets him in trouble now is going to serve him very well later in life. But for anyone that needs that in their life, you're going to get very excited about what these products do. So don't hesitate. If there's anything in you that says, oh my gosh, I could be really great at this, latch on to that. Don't leave here today and run into a spouse or a best friend who might not feel the same way. Because you get to be the prover of what actually happens with Kyani. So, distributor, go ahead and get started. We want to show you guys how to make that first $1,000 bonus in your first 30 days. And all of the leaders in the room know how to do that. They can sit down with you within 2 minutes and show you exactly what you need to do in order to make that. We have a full throttle promotion right now, which I've never seen in the history of the company. You actually could get started now. You could go full throttle. You could start to reach some of those diamond, even blue diamond positions within the next few months. And altogether, there's an option to make another $22,000 in the next 60 days. That blows my mind, you guys, of what you can actually do. That's on top of the compensation plan. And for some of you who think that's a lot to do in 2 months, you're not breaking any records. People have already done that without that promotion in place. I literally have a mom of 6 children in Seattle that hit diamond in 30 days. Nobody has an excuse after that. So for anybody that has a desire and a drive, if you want to make something happen, we're going to show you exactly how to. So Dream Team, Team Fusion, we are all one team with Kyani, you guys. Conference calls, events, all of them. I mean, honestly, the presentation is exactly the same. The only difference is the app. You guys, Team Fusion has an app, Dream Team has an app, but all of the events are posted, the system, your training materials, your videos, even how to send out a text message. If you can literally copy and paste a text message, you can build this business. For anyone that says, look, I work 80 hours a week, I don't have time. Well, first of all, what are you doing right now so that you don't work 80 hours a week a year from now? Because if you're not, then you need to find a way to solve that. But in order to build this, even if it was on a break, if you have a 15-minute break or a lunch hour, send a text message saying, hey, I just saw something ridiculous. Not only am I excited about it, I think our family could have the best financial year of our lives. I'm dying to share it with you. If I sent you a video, would you take the next 2 minutes and watch it? Send them the link. It's exactly what we have, you guys. It's simple, and that's exactly how it should be. You complicate this, you're just trying to make it more difficult than it needs to be. So you'll learn all of those things and how to duplicate the system. All the training events, quick start trainings, you guys. We really want you to be a part of the next success story, because it's great that we can talk about everybody else's story, but how great if we get to talk about yours? If you get to be the next success story of what Kyani has to offer. And hopefully you guys can feel that. You can get excited about it. Even if you're trying to be cool right now. I know you're trying to be cool. I was too, my first event. It's okay. But at some point you will get fired up. You'll see options. Because isn't that what freedom really is? I know money doesn't buy happiness, you guys. I've been broke. We've been financially independent. I was happy in both places. But there's definitely a lot more things you can do with money. And I'm not talking about just your own problems. I'm talking about other people. I mean, when you can literally solve other people's problems just by writing a check, it's just money. It's that simple. You get to be your biggest donor to your church, to your community, to foundations, to helping your children start their own businesses. I mean, it's just one of the most amazing things you could possibly experience. And creating that residual income is definitely the solid place to start. So we want to show you guys how to get started. I also want to talk a little bit about our events. There's a few things we do to become successful, just like professional athletes. Can you guys tell I'm a total tomboy and I'm so into sports? It's ridiculous. But I literally understand fundamentals. And in order to get great at anything, you have to master the fundamentals. And Kyani is the exact same way. So here's your 4 fundamentals. We get customers. There's never a point when you stop talking to people about the products. Somebody sitting next to me on an airplane, they are stuck. They need a parachute to get away from me. They're going to ask me what I do for a living. I'm going to talk about these phenomenal products. They're going to end. I literally had one guy log onto the Wi-Fi onto my website and bought it right there next to me. And I made sure he was asking all the questions. But he would say things like, what do you do for a living? Oh gosh, I work with a company where I get to travel the world. I get to teach people how to become financially independent, all by sharing products that are making a difference. What do you do? He says, wait. Back up. And then they start asking questions and more questions. If you say that to someone and they change the subject, they're probably not the perfect prospect to get involved. So just know how to lead into that. Never stop sharing these products. There's never a point when you stop. Second fundamental is presenting the business. There's never a point when you stop sharing the opportunity, whether it's the video, doing a presentation, bringing people to the opportunity meetings. There's never a point when you stop sharing the presentation. The third one, I think people overlook a lot. It's being organized. People want to know how we get things done. It's because we learn to prioritize. You make sure that everything that has to get done gets done first. then everything you need to get done, and then everything you want to get done. So if you just get really good at prioritizing, and if Kyani's not a priority, then it's never going to happen for you. My priority is pretty easy. I have my faith in the Lord, I have my family, and Kyani is right there behind it. It didn't start there. I had to gradually bump it up. But there's a reason why I can put those first two as my first two priorities, is because Kyani creates the time and the freedoms to be able to keep those as priorities. There's a lot of people that have those mixed up because they're too busy giving up their life making money, scrambling for money. They have way too much month at the end of their paycheck, right? And it's stressful. Everybody says heart disease, cancer, these are all the cause of death, leading cause. It's stress. Some of you need to put Kyani on your bank account, like pour it in there. Cause a lot less stress. You're super healthy, right? I have people ask me, do you look so healthy because of the products or because of the amount of money you're making? I'm like, who cares? Either way, it works. So find out for yourselves how great it is. So last one is the most important one. You can be okay getting customers, you can be okay at recruiting, you can be really bad at being organized, but if you get really good at coming to the events, if you promise yourself you're never gonna miss an event, no matter if you take 100 people or you just take yourself, you never miss an event. This is not about proving something to somebody else. This is about a commitment you make to yourself and your business. So even if you have to show up by yourself, you never miss an event. Because it's a way for you to rededicate yourself. It's a way for you to recognize your own weaknesses. It's a way for you to recommit to where you need to go. But then you get good at bringing other people. And when you bring other people, they learn from someone else how to get customers, how to recruit, how to get organized, how to come to events. Doesn't it make sense that if you take 9 people to an event and yourself, it's more exciting to leave there making 10 paychecks than just one? So if all you have to do is get good at getting people to events, you'll make more money than anybody. That is the one thing that if you can master, everything else will come with time, and you'll get good at it. So when somebody says, how many events do I have to go to? All of them. There's never a point, you guys. And if you're not willing to, I don't want to go see a doctor that doesn't continue his education. Do you? No. I don't want to go to an accountant who takes care of my taxes that doesn't continue his education. I want to be around people that take their business seriously and that always want to get better and perfect what they're doing. That's how we want to be in Kyani as well. Because at some point, you're going to be teaching it too. At some point, you're going to be responsible for giving other people the information, and you definitely want to make sure that you're giving them your best as well. So we love that you guys are here. All of the registrations are here, you guys. Right now, these to join us in Las Vegas, which is it hard to get people from Calgary to go to Las Vegas? No. Don't you guys want to go to Las Vegas anyway? Let's go. Forget the event. Let's go. Come with us, you guys. I mean, we literally have registrations. We're talking about August 17th through 19th in Las Vegas. 2 days to learn how to become financially independent, to not have to hold anybody else's hand, to learn directly from the founders, the top money earners, the doctors, the scientists, everyone. Otherwise, you stay here and everybody else goes. You get to play the telephone game where someone says something to someone else and they say it to someone else, and by the time it gets to you, it's completely translated, right? You're in a completely different world, let alone Kyani. So you want to make sure and learn it directly from the people that you want to copy and duplicate. And you want to take control of your own business. So don't leave here tonight without registering for the event. Right now it's $199. If you sign up tonight, it's $119. So we have the forms right here. And you can buy as many tickets as you want to, because as soon as you leave these doors, it's $199. So if somebody's not here, get them on the phone, get their information, make sure and get them a ticket as well. I'll stick around as long as you want to and fill out those forms. But before we go, we want to give away some products. Can we do that? You guys okay with that?